Hello everyone, welcome to your own channel. So today's topic of the class is static and non-static method. So let's understand this topic with the help of one program. So let's start. So let's make a class demo. Then we will declare variables int x, y, z. Three variables we have taken of int type. Then we will define a function or method, and as you know the syntax of user defined function which we have already discussed in the previous class. First we will use the access specifier public, then return type void, then some relevant name of method. I am taking here sum. S will be small, right? So I will write small s sum, and as a parameter list I will pass two parameter int m and int n, right? So this is a user defined method. Then I will assign value of m into x, value of n into y, right? Then z equals to x plus y, and then I will display z. System dot out dot println sum equals to s, right? So this is one method, fine. Now I will make another method public, and I will add one modifier in that, and that modifier is static. So static is a modifier, then void, then display, right? So this is the prototype: access specifier, static, void, display, then parenthesis. So this is a static method. So as you add the static modifier in the prototype, that become static method, and after the access specifier before the return type, right? Then in that I am displaying system dot out dot println inside static within double quotes, right? So this is static method. And what about these in which we don't use static modifier? All methods are non-static. This we call non-static or instance method, right? Non-static or instance method. Now we will make main function public static void main string args, right? Inside main function, so to call this user defined method or non-static or instance method, what we do? We create the object of class. So how will you create the object of class? Demo class name d1 object name equals to new demo. So this we have already discussed. Same way we will create another object demo d2 equals to new demo. So two objects we have created, right? Now we will call this method d1 dot method name sum, and as a parameter I am passing here 5, 10, right? Same way with another object I will invoke this method sum. Here I am giving some another value 7, 14. So with two different objects we have invoked the same method sum. Now then how will you invoke this static method? So this we have already discussed now, how to invoke the method in the previous video. By creating the instance or by creating the object we can invoke the method, right? Now the static method, how will you invoke this static method? See, static method belongs to class. It does not belong to objects or instance. So you cannot invoke static method with the help of instance. Object is the instance only, right? So first point is static method belongs to class, not to the object. So that's why we cannot invoke static method with the help of instance or object. So I cannot write here d1 dot display. No. So how will you invoke? By using the class name. Fine. So how will you invoke this display? By using class name. So demo dot display. This is correct. Or if you don't write demo dot, only write display, that is also correct. Because as there is only one class. Fine. If there are more than one class, then in that case you need to write class name dot display. There is only one class, so you can simply write display. That is also correct. So both ways are correct. Fine. Demo dot display. Now, okay. Now how does it work? How the memory is allocated? First, I will close the main and then I will close the class. So this is a program, right? So let's see its execution. How does it execute? First, it will come to the main function. Then we have what we have done. We have created object d1. So new keyword, as we know, new operator is used to allocate the memory to the object. Fine. So as I have written this, so in memory, space will be allocated for d1, right? And what does object contains? Object will contain the copy of data members. So here object will have its own copy of x, y, z. Next step, demo d2 equals to new demo. So again d2 will get the memory space with its own copy of x, y, z, right? Then we have given d1 dot sum 5, 10. So it will invoke this method sum. We are passing value 5, 10. So what will be value of m? 5. What will be value of n? 10. And then we have assigned into x, y. So x kitna hua? 5 and y 10. So with object d1. So x will be 5 and y will be 10. Then what we have done? Z equals to x plus y. Z value 15. Right. So here it should be z. So z value 15. So it has its own copy. D1 has its own copy, right? And D2 7, 14. Same way, x value 7, y is 14, and z will be 14 plus 7, 21, right? So D1 and D2 has its own copy of data member. Now, if you remember, in OOPS or in previous video or in books also you might have read that we give the definition that object is an entity contain data and function, right? Everybody know that object is an entity which contain data as well as function, or we say the object has its own copy of data and function. But it doesn't mean that these methods will be stored in every instance. Are you getting? See, some method will not store in D1 and D2. They share the, see, some method, okay, I am writing here, will be stored only at one place. Some method will be stored only at one place. This is public void sum method, right? So some method will occupy space at one place, and this method can be invoked by D1 as well as can be invoked by D2. This method will behave differently for D1 and differently for with D2. Fine. So behavior will be different for D1 and D2. That's why we say D1 has its own copy of variables and this method. But when we talk about the memory allocation, in memory only the different value of data members occupy the space, not method. Fine. D1 has its own copy. When you invoke this, we simply invoke d1.sum. So d1 will invoke this method and its behavior will be different due to these different value. When I invoke d2.sum, so its behavior will be different due to these values. So it behaves differently for each object, but it will not occupy space in d1 and d2, right? This might create confusion. So now I hope it is clear, because few students were asking to me, does method stored in object? No. Instance method store only once, which is common for all the objects. Fine. It doesn't store as per the instance basis. It will not store separately for every object. It will be stored only as a single copy. I hope it is clear. Doubt is clear. Now come to this static function. So public static void display. So as I told you, static method belongs to class and it doesn't belong to instance. So objects will not share this display method. Display method will be shared by static void display, will be stored in the memory, and only class can invoke, not any object. Class demo. Fine. This is a class method, so demo can invoke this method, not any instance. So first point, doesn't belong to instance, it doesn't belong to object, and it can be invoked with the class name only. Now the next point is that this non-static method can access both non-static as well as static method. But static method can access only static method directly. Are you getting? Static method can access only static method directly. Directly I am using the word. Now you may ask, main is a static method, but we have invoked this non-static method, right? How? Static method should invoke only static method, then how non-static? We generally say static method can access only static method, another static method, right? So according to that, the static method main should call only this static display, right? Yes, this is true, because directly it will be called display. To call the non-static method in a static, we need to create its object. Fine. So moral of the story is, static method can invoke the non-static with the help of its reference, with the help of its object. So we need to create the object. But if it is static, we can directly call it. If one class is there, no need to write even the class name. Fine. So these are the differences between static and non-static. So this is a non-static method, right? Can I invoke this static method? Yes, I can invoke. Fine. I can directly invoke. If I want to invoke this display in this non-instance method, in this non-static method, I can simply write display or class name dot display, because non-static can access any static or non-static. Fine. But if you say this static method can invoke this sum, yes, it can, but with the help of object. So you need to create its object. Demo, d equals to new demo, then d dot sum. If you write in display, then it will be invoked. Okay, one more point is there, that can we make the data members also static? Yes, we can. Can we write static int xyz? Yes, we can make it. And if I make static int, so it will become static data member. So non-static can access static as well as non-static. So it can access, fine. And this static void display can also access it. But if it is non-static, if no static is there, then this static method cannot access this, because static method can access only static member and static method. Static में static ही होगा. The option is there that to call the non-static inside the static, we create its object. So again, through object it can be accessed if it is non-static. Fine. No confusion between static and non-static. चलिए Okay, let's quickly summarize whatever we have studied till now. So first point under static, this is the difference between static and instance method. So first point under static is static method belongs to a class. Instance method belongs to the object of class. Static methods are called by class name, and if one class is there, then no need to write even the class name. Instance methods are called by the object of the class. Third point, static method can access only static methods directly, right? They must use reference to object to call the instance method. So it's not like that static method cannot call the instance method. They can, but not directly. For that we need to create the object of the class, and through that object we can call the instance method or non-static method. While instance method can access any static or non-static method directly. It can call this static or non-static method directly. Fine. So these are the differences. If you ask which one is better, either we should use the static or instance method. See, if you see the convenience that no need to create the instance, static method can be called directly, then okay, this is good one. But main problem is that in inheritance term is new for you, you have not studied till now. But in case of inheritance, static methods has some limitation. We cannot override the static methods. So overridden method you will study later on, but there are some limitations with static. And one more limitation, static can access only static members. So there are some limitations with static. That's why we prefer instance method. Rest depends upon the requirement also. Fine. So now we will see different ways of writing functions in program. So first way is receiving value and returning outcome to the caller. Means in function we are receiving some value and we are returning also. So with one program I will explain all three types. So first we will make a program factorial, let it be factorial. Then we will make function, which one? Receiving value and returning. So public, returning is there, so I will take return type int, then function name fact, and receiving also. So receiving means we are passing some parameter. So int x, right? So as we know how to find out factorial, so int f equals to 1, then 4, int I equals to 1, I less than equals to x, I plus plus. Factorial simply means, I hope you know, 4 factorial. 4 factorial equals to 1 into 2 into 3 into 4, right? So same we will do the product. If the number is 5, so 1 to 5 loop will go, right? And we will simply find the product of 1 to 5. 1 into 2 into 3 into 4 into 5. So how will you write? F equals to F into I. Fine. So by this we will get the factorial of x. And then as we have to return some value, I will write return what? F. So this is the function having receiving some value and returning. Then how will you invoke this function in main? Public static void main string args. Now to invoke this we will create the object of factorial. Factorial f equals to new factorial. Then we will invoke this method f dot fact. F dot fact will pass some value, let it be 5, and as it is returning some value f, so we will assign in int p. Int p equals to f dot fact 5. So this will invoke this method. X ka value 5 we are giving, so x value is 5, and it will calculate the factorial of 5 and return the result. And this result will be returned to the caller, and that will be assigned in a P. So in P, value will be factorial of 5, and then we will display it. System dot out dot println factorial equals to P, main close, class close. So this was the first case, receiving value and returning outcome. Now we will see the second case, receiving value but not returning outcome. So let's make changes in the same program. So here I am writing receiving value but not returning, So this is the second case, right? So what changes shall I do? Not returning means return type void. This will be same, right? Return F will not come because it will not return anything. We simply display here only system dot out dot println factorial equals to F. Fine. So how will you invoke the method? You will not assign into another variable. You will simply invoke f dot fact 5. Fine. That will be displayed there. No need to display over here. So this was the second case. So you can use method when you are receiving something and not returning anything. So this is the second case. Now we will see the third case, neither receiving nor returning. So let's make changes here, neither receiving nor returning. So this is the third case, neither receiving nor returning. So these are the three ways by which you can use the method. So neither receiving means no parameters, right? So no parameter means I have to take value of x here, let it be 7, fine. And not returning means we have already displayed here, so it was not returning in the previous case also. So this was the thing. So instead of these parameter, I have given x equals to 7 inside the method. So it will calculate the factorial of 7 and will display it. And this will be factorial f new factorial f dot fact. Then now we will not pass any parameter. So simple, we will write f dot fact. So it will invoke this method and the factorial will be displayed. So these were the three ways to write the functions in a program. That's it in this video. Thanks for watching.